Connected. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr. $2.5 billion. Governor Gavin Newsom said it was there for fire survivors in Altadena and the Palisades. No strings attached. That was the promise. But the burning question is, where's it at? 18 months later, an NBC4 investigation came back with the numbers. The numbers don't answer the question, they deepen it. Where's it at? About $605 million has been spent, roughly 75% still not released. Where's it at? Roughly $14 million went to CHP overtime and ICE immigration protest response for crowd control. Not rebuilding homes, not rebuilding lives, but crowd control. Where's it at? Another $13 million went to the state health department for video campaigns while fire survivors waited. While families in Altadena are still trying to put their lives back together, still trying to get housed, this is the hope gap and it's real. Where's it at? Southern California Edison is still in court, still fighting liability tied to the Eden fire, still not accountable. Where's it at? 18 months later, Governor Newsom, where's it at? Because the truth is free, but the lie can be very expensive. And right now, fire survivors want to know what happened to no strings attached. And I've been saying on this mic for the past 18 months, somebody or somebodies didn't do their job. Now it's documented. Governor Newsom, listen closely. You didn't do your job. You didn't keep your promise. You held up the bill. Now stop holding up the money. You said no strings attached. Instead, you played on the people's heartstrings. Where's it at? See, Governor Newsom, even at the French Laundry, if it don't come out in the wash, it's sure enough gonna come out in the rinse, and the rinse cycle is here. With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA. Talk 1580, download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Fat Meat Fridays right here in the city of Chicago. Our co-host on Fat Meat Fridays is none other than Gina Towns, the president and CEO of 519 Productions, the executive producer, creative director, and program director for the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, right here on Smiley Audio Media's KBLA Talk 1580. She's the host of Reflectivity on our weekly series, Fat Meat Fridays, a graduate of Hampton University with a Bachelor of Arts, a Master's of Arts in Theology and Social Justice from Princeton Theological Seminary. Gina, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
What's going on, Jesse?
A lot going on. We drove 13 hours from Richmond, Virginia to get back to the city of Chicago. Got here about what? 9
2
o'clock?
hours?
I don't
know. I took a blink.
And, I mean, it was something else.
Felt like Ty Geary.
I mean, all
1 foot in, 1 foot out.
1 foot in, 1 foot out. Hey, listen. The world is celebrating, and I'm being that the world is now experiencing and seeing on this very day, a day in history, a day in infamy, its first trillionaire. And his name is Elon Musk. With the amazing offering of SpaceX on the exchanges, the stock price, the last I checked, was the opening price I heard was $135, but it's at $175 a share, and they're only offering really for people who are capable of buying these shares, one share at a time, simply because of the demand for this particular stock. But there has been nothing grosser in human history than the skewing of wealth upwards, and in this particular case, in the hands of a single person. And just before I bring on our very special guest for the next hour on Fat Meat Fridays, it simply means that one person in the United States can spend more dark money in every congressional campaign in this country than we can ever fathom. It means that the presidency of the United States will be cowering to the interests of one of the nation's largest defense contractors, who happens to be an individual who has control over that which oversees the United States satellite network. It means that honest, integrous people who want to be of service to their country and state legislatures, and great new voices who might emerge in this process, like Brother Diallo Brooks, that if Mr. Musk decides to put any resources and dark money in that campaign, if Diallo ever chose that route, he could put his finger on the scale of a campaign on a scale that would be unmatched in human history. Just one person having the power of more than 100, the financial power of more than 100 nations around the world combined. And he's just getting started. Gina, your thoughts on the grotesque nature of the upward drift of Elon Musk's wealth?
I decided when I heard that news and well, actually I read it and then you mentioned it to me. I said, let me take a look at what his estimated giving is. And 14 billion his foundation has given away, but little to outsiders is what I found. And so then I had to go and see, well, what does that really mean? So ongoing philanthropy to causes K through 12 and university level education, space exploration, and AI safety, are carbon removal, and Tesla shares that he has donated 100 million to undisclosed charities as part of his year-end plan.
Yeah, to bring white South Africans to the United States.
Yeah.
He's a South African. People who supported apartheid. People who are being given free land in the United States. They are not paying taxes.
Income or property
taxes. We sat down at a bar one time, and this white South African, just in the last month and a half, was just having a time of his life with Jack on the Rocks, talking about how he got here for free, how he owns several acres of land in the woods of Tennessee, how he's building his home, and how he doesn't pay property or income taxes. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. When we come forward, we will be introducing our very special guest and regular contributor, Mr. Diallo Brooks. More on KBLA Talk 1580, right here on Fat Meat Fridays.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Yeah, man. Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580. Your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive. Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
Welcome to Fat Meat Fridays on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm joined by our regular contributing host, Gina Towns. Gina, welcome forward to the show.
Thanks, Jesse.
Hey, Gina is the president and CEO of 519 Productions. Our very special guest in this hour is Diallo Brooks. With over 25 years of experience in social justice and civil rights, Diallo has been a pivotal figure in promoting policies that foster safe, healthy, and thriving communities. He currently serves as the founder and CEO of Civic Vision Strategies, a strategic consulting firm empowering organizations through transformative leadership development and community engagement strategies. As the former senior equity fellow at the Schott Foundation for Public Education, Diallo bridged the gap between national policymakers and grassroots education justice organizations to advance progressive racial justice policies. Diallo, welcome forward to the show.
Thank you, Jesse, for having me. And hey, Gina.
Hey, Diallo, how are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Diallo, I think that you and we and all of us have the best of intentions. That is, many of us woke up this morning with Jesus on our minds. Others of us woke up this morning with Black Power on our minds. Many of us woke up this morning with social justice on our minds and doing right by the least of these and people who cannot do for themselves. But Gina, I'm thinking a person that walks the streets of the United States of America, who does this kind of business with the US government, who has $1 trillion, and this is just the foundation of what he wants, can purchase, buy, influence, carry favor with just about any business interest, including Negro, liberal, progressive, down with the people organization, but funded by Elon Musk. He can pick and choose whoever and whenever he wants. Brother Brooks, the entire social justice landscape, from my perspective, has changed.
It's definitely a change. And to see us moving into a place where we have a trillionaire in this world is mind-boggling. And like all that you mentioned before about the power that money has, particularly in this capitalistic system that we have, and this kind of unfeathered system now around our elections and our politics, where It allows third-party folks to spend unlimitedly in elections, both federal, state, and local elections across the country. It's very daunting and it's very scary. And to also know that a good portion of his wealth is he's benefited from his relationship with our federal government through contracts that he's gotten with our federal government as a way to continue to make to earn resources, and then also just how he spends that money in a philanthropic sense in places that really undermines our social justice intentions, those of us that are working hard and fighting for social justice in this country.
Gina, you just posted a note. America's richest people are not its most generous.
I did. I posted it. I did it. I had to do it. Well, let's talk about it a little bit.
Absolutely. It's in such small print there. I gotta rely upon you.
All right. Only half of the 12 richest people in the United States are on Forbes' list of the 25 biggest givers. It is possible that some, including Dale Page and Huang, have given additional undisclosed sums through donor-advised funds. But here we go. Elon Musk, at this particular point, when this was published in Forbes, he was worth $780 billion, estimated lifetime giving 0.5 billion. Percentage of his net worth was 0.06 in giving. And on down this list, Larry Page, Jeff Bezos.
What's Jeff doing, Gina?
Jeff's net worth as of the publication here was 250 billion, estimated lifetime giving 4.7 billion, and that was 1.85 of a percentage of his total net
I see
worth.
a few people down. You got Mark Zuckerberg. What's happening with Mark Zuckerberg? He's a big name we know.
Mark is worth 213 billion as of this publication, 6.1 billion estimated lifetime giving, 2.7 percent of his net worth. Now, where you do see a big jump is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is said to have a net worth of 146 billion, estimated lifetime giving 68.3 billion, and that is 31.87 as a percentage of his giving. Now, let me.
How about Jim Walton and the Walton family? I think those are the Walmart people, aren't they? They're down there.
Yeah, Jim Walton, 136 billion, 1.5 billion over a lifetime, and the percentage of that net worth is 1.0.
They're stingy, Gina. Not only
So-
are they making a lot of money,
Okay,
Diallo,
I'm
they're
going to
stingy.
have to make Diallo the pastor of this show.
Okay. They're stingy, Reverend Diallo.
Well,
Bishop Diallo.
what I wanted to do was to have us and the our listeners, the people who are on the air. I don't know who all is listening, but what is it like to have a billion? I mean, most people start at what's it like to have a million?
I'm trying to get to $500.
A million here. What is that even like? And then to calculate what it's like to have $1 billion. And here's the problem: everybody would like to think that they would be so generous until perhaps you get into the situation. So I would like to keep that framework in place. But I tell you what, when you have experience not having much, sometimes it can work in the opposite way, where when you get it, you just kind of go crazy. And on the flip side, sometimes when you have experience not having much, you are so willing to share. It really gets down to your value system and what you value in society. And what you think about human flourishing in general. What do you think? I mean, Diallo, this is a great question for you because, in civic strategies, you really could use $1 billion helping people get organized.
Yeah. So I have some deep thoughts about not only just the distribution of wealth in this country and also in this world, why folks even need to have this vast amount of money. and also the systems that are in place that perpetuate this kind of wealth in a small, limited number of people's hands. The system is designed in a way that benefits them and their ability to gain that wealth. And it has everybody else playing this, whack-a-mole game of like, oh yeah, one day I can be one of them. One day you're not going to be one of them. You're more likely to be an NBA player. And we know the percentages there, or an NFL player than becoming a billionaire, right? And then you look at the imbalance of power, and this all plays under capitalism. And I think in our society, in our world, we have to have a real conversation around whether capitalism is something that benefits us. There's a lot of people that look like us too that talk about capitalism, and all you have to do is buy a couple of houses and do all these things. But we're seeing in this economic situation that just is not playing out for the overwhelming majority of people. And it also is a system, quite honestly, that is leaving so many people behind. So many people, not even just in the middle class, but we're talking about poor folks that are just not able to pull themselves out of their circumstances because the odds against them are so overwhelming. And, then you look at how rigged it is at the top, where folks can continue to generate this amount of wealth, and it's not distributed in ways that benefit society, benefit us as human beings to exist in a way that make us better. And so this is the tax structure. Yeah, even the tax structure is built for
especially the tax structure. Listen to James Madison right here. If men were angels, no government would be necessary. If angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls on government would be necessary. If in framing a government, which is to be administered by men over men, the great difficulty lies in this: you must first enable the government to control the governed, and in the next place oblige it to control itself. A dependence on the people is, no doubt, the primary control on the government, but experience has taught mankind the necessity of auxiliary precautions. So what happens when Elon Musk runs candidates for office on a single mission to eliminate public schools? Or to make the argument that providing everyone with health care is an inefficient use of tax dollars and revenue, and he runs candidates for office to pursue such an ideal. I'm not suggesting that Mr. Musk will do that. I'm simply suggesting that with the freedom that comes with $1 trillion comes absolutely no obligation to the idea of government.
Right.
A government that only assists him for the purposes of advancing his or her own ideological points of view and perspectives. We've talked about the billionaire class in this campaign. We've talked about the billionaire class for the last decade or so in the United States. We have never discussed what the power and the influence of a trillionaire would be, and someone who wants $10 trillion would be, and someone who ran through the Treasury and through the various agencies of government to ensure domestic tranquility at the beginning of this administration, who has access to our data from the very government that stands between us and whatever it is he wakes up in the morning and decides to do. I'm deeply troubled by that. I mean, democracy became weaker today. The government became weaker today because it is precisely the founding of this government that acknowledged men were incapable without government of doing right by all of the people, including but not limited to discouraging them from voting and disengaging them for the very process that holds them accountable.
Yeah.
Gina?
I think that's where you do have to kind of land the question, because having that much money, you are essentially above the law. I mean, you don't have to do, say, be, or anything. Whatever the law is, if you want to fight it for a little while, that's fine. And as you said, you can work to elect judges here, there. I mean, there's just really no end to it. But what What I do want to discuss when we come forward from the break is the generation that all of us have children, and I do look forward to Diallo's daughter coming on to have some conversation about her generation, but they really do reject the idea of capitalism in its fullest measure. And I do think that that's part of the problem. It is a conflict for our Constitution. It just is. They have never been exist, which was the whole idea behind chattel slavery.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, reducing people to property and to property interests, what we have in this system to compete with billionaires and trillionaires is one vote. It's all we have. Even a trillionaire only has one vote. A billionaire has one vote. And we can outvote them. But if we're outvoting them and not putting in place a representative government of our interests and needs, their money will simply overwhelm the system. Chief?
Well, I do look forward to coming forward to discuss this a little bit more. And I know Diallo has some more thoughts. I really want to hear about that civic engagement and what we could possibly do with such a treasure chest, a war chest, besides go to war.
You're listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. It's Fat Meat Fridays on KBLA Talk 1580. When we come forward, our very special guest in the first hour is none other than Diallo Brooks. Come forward right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The Rainbow Push Coalition's annual conference is underway on Chicago's South Side. Hillary Clinton addressed the gathering Thursday, calling for a grassroots push against what she called efforts to turn the clock back.
We don't need to have a bunch of elected officials leading this new movement.
It's the first conference since the death of founder Reverend Jesse Jackson, with his son Yusef now leading Push. The scheduled execution of Black Alabama death row inmate Jeffrey Lee has been postponed. The U.S. Supreme Court left in place a lower court injunction blocking Alabama's use of nitrogen hypoxia. And rapper Pooh Shiesty's federal trial has been pushed to February 2027 in a kidnapping and armed robbery case tied to rapper Gucci Mane. Prosecutors say Shiesty, whose legal name is Lontrell Williams Jr., led an armed takeover of a Dallas recording studio during a contract meeting. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Escape the city at the all-new Hard Rock Casino Tejon, just an easy drive from downtown LA. Play your favorites across over 2,000 slot machines, plus baccarat, blackjack, roulette, and craps. Enjoy live entertainment and exceptional dining. Must be 21 or older. Concerned about your gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The first World Cup soccer match in the U.S. is tonight at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. The U.S. takes on Paraguay. Start time 6 p.m. If the ticket prices are out of your budget, you can catch the match live on Fox Sports, Peacock, or Telemundo. Get ready for a lot of soccer chatter over the next several weeks. The World Cup will last 39 days. 48 nations will compete in 16 cities across the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Serena Williams was unable to compete in the doubles quarterfinals Thursday in the HSBC Championships in London. Serena's doubles partner, Victoria Mboko, was forced to withdraw because of a knee injury. Serena and Mboko won their first-round match on Tuesday. Serena says she still intends to play in Germany next week at the Berlin Open. No word yet on whether the Compton native is doing the singles or doubles. Serena is considering a comeback after retiring in 2022. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, aka the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Here's to 5 years of making the right people uncomfortable. 5 years of amplifying the voices that deserve a megaphone. 5 years of progressive talk radio that Los Angeles can be proud of. And the gift we're giving you is 5 more years of exactly this. Unapologetically progressive, unmistakably LA. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Happy anniversary!
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. We continue our look at what is happening and what is not happening along the Destination Crenshaw corridor. Last time we talked about the promises made to this community. Today we talk about the reality on the ground, and it is not pretty. Let's start with something as basic as a visit to the vet. Customers of the local veterinary clinic right next door to this studio are forced to park blocks away and carry their sick and injured animals through conditions that no pet owner or sick animal should have to endure. Why? Because the construction has blocked access to the vet's parking lot for years now. The vet is losing clients, the vet is losing revenue, and frankly, who can blame these customers for not coming back? This is but one example of a small Black-owned business being quietly strangled, and nobody at City Hall seems to notice or care. And the conditions along this corridor, they are not just an eyesore, they are a health hazard. Unsanitary conditions and repeated health code violations are doing exactly what you would expect, inviting vermin into our neighborhood, rodents, pests, the kind of infestation that does not stay in one place. It spreads into homes, into restaurants, into our daily lives for years now. Then there is this. The houseless are finding refuge in the construction cubbyholes and unfinished spaces left wide open along this project. These are precious human beings, to be sure, in desperate situations. But this is also a safety and liability crisis that the city created and has yet to address for years now. In our prior editorial, trying to save some space for grace, we did not call his name. But after a full week of running the editorial hourly, highlighting the myriad delays, business losses, health violations, safety concerns, and more, we have heard absolutely nothing from City Council President Marquise Harris Dawson. Nothing. Not a word. The council member who represents this district has gone silent. You see why we call this project Procrastination Crenshaw? And so I repeat, Crenshaw deserves better. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome to Fat Meat Fridays with Jesse Jackson Jr. and Gina Towns. As the former senior equity fellow at the Schott Foundation for Public Education, Diallo bridged the gap between national policymakers and grassroots education justice organizations to advance progressive racial justice policies. His fellowship embedded him with the U.S. Department of Education under the Biden administration, where he served as a senior executive championing community and equity-focused policies. Diallo previously served as the Senior Vice President of Programs and Advocacy at the Schott Foundation, leading grant-making and programmatic initiatives for educational equity and justice. Diallo, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on Fat Meat Fridays with Jesse and Gina.
Thank you for having me, Jesse.
Gina?
You know, during the break, I was listening to the news, and I had heard about the stay in Alabama for the prisoner on death row. And, you know, it just made me think about the state of Alabama and the level of poverty that exists there. The state of Mississippi, poverty that exists there. But you know what? That poverty exists in pockets all over the country. And out of sight, out of mind, I think that, you know, is probably one of those most appropriate phrases for the moment. And when we put that in context of, you know, here's somebody on death row, whatever you did to deserve to be on death row, the argument is about how you should be executed. But what would have happened if there would have been some intervention earlier in this person's life? What is the level of education that this person has experienced? What are all the things that could go into making our society better when we have people who, even in the capitalism model, decide to pool the wealth together, decide to fund things that benefit everybody? And so, you know, when we have someone like Diallo who can be visionary in that space, what do you think it would happen, Diallo? Would we really be looking at people still being on death row, perhaps, or at least the number? Would we have to have decisions and the court intervene in how we're going to kill people by nitrogen gas or electrocution? I don't know. I mean, what does a society look like when that kind of wealth is spread around?
Well, I think it becomes a more perfect union. I think we come to a place where we design the systems and structures that are really about uplifting us, protecting us, creating the ability for us to thrive, creating opportunities for folks to be able to be productive citizens, but also take care of the health and well-being of everyone in our society. And I think, you know, it is a reflection of our values as Americans. What are we fighting for? What are we pushing for? What do we want to see, not only our government, but us as a community of folks coming together, living together in this country? What is it that we want to see? And I think if you start asking people on an individual basis outside of the body politic about what they want, I think we all want similar things. I think what's happened is the well has been poisoned with bad information, with pitting groups against each other. People are benefiting off of the deprivation of other communities, the demonizing of other people. And I think, you know, we have to start having a moral check on ourselves. And I think, you know, somebody like Reverend Barber, who's been doing this work for a long time, you know, often articulates that about the moral consciousness of our country. Where are we morally? What do we want to see? We have devolved into such an individualistic perspective that it's undermined our ability to collectively come together and create systems that are supportive. Yeah, you might have some folks that fall down along the way, but I think we'll be in a much safer, much less punitive type of an environment because we've invested in the things that we know matter. We know make a difference across the board. And the accumulation of billions of dollars undermines that. No individual should be a billionaire. Because you don't need a billionaire to be a billionaire to survive, to be healthy, to thrive, right? But when you have a billion, that means other people are deprived of resources they need to survive.
I just Googled this and pulled it up on artificial intelligence. With $1 trillion fortune, Elon Musk has reached a level of wealth that rivals the economic output of major nations. This milestone was unlocked following the public market debut today of aerospace company SpaceX. Because $1 trillion is 1,000 times greater than $1 billion, it gives him unprecedented global leverage. First, funding space exploration and Mars colonization. Establish a permanent colony on Mars. Musk has stated that his primary goal is not personal luxury, but leveraging his wealth via SpaceX to build a self-sustaining city on Mars. Bankroll NASA for decades. He could cover NASA's entire budget, $24.6 billion, 41 times over. He could self-fund massive AI data centers. He can absorb the massive cash burn required for xAI to build next-generation supercomputers like Colossus. He could acquire entire industries and sport leagues. He could buy the world's 50 most valuable sports franchises on Earth combined at $353 billion and still have hundreds of billions left over. He could absorb Netflix, Disney, and Paramount all together. He could buy more than 15 million pounds of gold, institutional bricks, similar to what is held in Fort Knox. If he had to distribute cash globally to every single person, he could give everyone $100 and remain one of the world's 10 richest billionaires. He could completely wipe out the student loan debt of every American under 35, which comes to $561 billion. According to Oxfam America, just 10% on his fortune, a 10% tax, could fund programs to lift 800 million people out of extreme poverty just for 1 year. His spending power is unfathomable. If he managed to spend 1 million every single day, it would take him 2,740 years to burn through it. He could buy 2.5 million average priced U.S. homes outright. Simply putting the money in a basic index or bank account at 4% interest, it would net him $40 billion a year in passive payouts. That's how gross it is to have $1 trillion. And the only way to level that kind of wealth is to have, and this was the founder's experiment, government of, for, and by the people. That was the point. Government of, for, and by the people against the great economic interests within our own country and around the world. Gina?
Well, when we come forward, I do want to talk about, because Hollywood always gives us a peek into these kinds of things. So when we come forward, we'll continue our conversation with Diala Works. And you are
Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're an African American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
Hi, I'm Chris Holden, former California Assembly member, former mayor of Pasadena, and CEO of LA Fire Justice. I've spent my career fighting for our communities. When I saw Edison celebrating $4.5 billion in profits while Eaton fire survivors struggle to make ends meet, it made me simultaneously sick and furious. Families and individuals are dealing with financial pressure, insurance delays, costly remediation, and the painful question of how to rebuild their lives, while the utility that caused the fire is paying its executives millions and is more profitable than ever. That's not justice. That's a disgrace. Join the lawsuit with LA Fire Justice to hold Edison accountable. We're here to help you, your family, and our community recover. Visit lafirejustice.com today to learn more about your eligibility and how to start.
Advertisement. Douglas Boxer, 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100, Pasadena, California, 91101 is the attorney responsible for this ad.
LA Fire Justice is proud to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase. Don't be anxious or confused about AI. Take control of your career when you get the skills to tackle real business problems and design specialized solutions. HR Dive reported that entry-level talent with applied AI credentials can receive up to a 25% salary boost. But where do you find training that you can trust? Future-proof your career and deliver more value with Humans Lead the Way AI. Their hybrid learning courses use practical definitions, real-world examples, and strategic insights to help you and your team understand AI with confidence. No magic, no hacks, no shortcuts. Just practical knowledge that helps you use AI more successfully. Don't wait. AI can never replace people who know how to use it well. Register for courses today at humansleadtheway.com. That's humansleadtheway.com.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Quality drops the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download that.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Looking forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. We're on Fat Meat Fridays with Gina Towns. Our very special guest is none other than Mr. Diallo Brooks. Gina's going to make a point in just a moment about Elysium and the power to pay for science fiction movies in our own lifetime. I asked the question, if Elon Musk spent $200 billion of his $1 trillion, that would essentially return him to where he was in terms of his wealth just 3 years ago, around $800 billion. If he spent $200 billion on a total of 435 congressional campaigns, and he spent the money evenly across 435 congressional campaigns. The exact result would be, I wish I could get a drum roll. He would spend $459,770,114.94 in every campaign for Congress. United States. And under the current rules of Citizens United, there would be nothing that could stop him from doing so. Control the entire federal budget. One might argue he may already be controlling the entire federal budget. Gina, I'll make a point. Elysium.
It's all just a lie. When you were talking about, or I think we just talked about his exploration is going to colonize Mars. I mean, it's always
he's a eugenicist.
It's always colonizing. First of all,
He's a eugenicist. He's not just a colonist. He's a white supremacist.
Yeah, well,
unapologetically.
There's that. But when I said that Hollywood always kind of gives you a peek into things, I remember Matt Damon's movie Elysium, where all of the poor people are red, yellow, black, and white. Everybody was still on Earth. It was war torn. It was ravaged. People were hungry, dirty. And then
You're saying they left all the Negroes down here?
Not just that. I'm talking about, who Martin Luther King said, like, when all you people decide to come together, the poor. And on Elysium, on another planet, was all the great health care and all the niceties. And there's a little girl who's dying. I believe she had cancer in the movie. And, Matt Damon has had a shock of some sort of radiation, and he becomes half robot and half this. And anyway, he's the hero that gets her up to Jodie Foster being mean and running the healthcare system, I suppose, on the planet. But it just really, to me, is a peek into, is this where we're heading? Like, is it a purge? Is it what is the goal? And haven't we already been to Mars to say that we cannot live on Mars? But with that kind of money, you can take what you need.
Are you going to play your piece?
That was it.
Oh, I thought you were going to play your piece, the video.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's troubling. Diallo, we've got about 5 minutes before the end of the show. In this moment, I can't help but think that the movement that you've been leading and the work that you've been doing is really around people power, challenging the gross inequities that exist in our system. And now today, the gross inequity is on full display. Diallo?
Yeah, we've always traditionally and historically been underfunded. We've always had the challenge of resources versus those without resources. And we've organized and we've developed strategies to push back regardless of that, coming out of slavery, coming out of Jim Crow, all of those pieces, all of those times we were under-resourced. And it was people power and leaning on kind of the moral righteousness argument in order to really push us forward for change. And so I'd like to really focus in on strategies that galvanize, educate folks. Sometimes that has to happen behind the scenes. Sometimes that has to happen in the quiet moments while all of this noise is happening, about giving folks the tools they need to make better decisions and then utilizing that power to push back. And we've seen in places around the country, look at New York, look at kind of revolutionary wise what happened in New York as far as the mayor's election there, right? There was a lot of pushback and a lot of money put in on the other side to push back. But then organizing and galvanizing and appealing to what people feel like they need in this moment. And I see that in a lot of places where people are like, look, damn the rich and famous folks and folks that want to stick with the status quo. We want something different because this is not working for us. And Gina, you mentioned it before, young people are looking at this as this is not what we want. And I think as that kind of develops, but also strategic, we have to get into strategy. Like, what is our strategic approach? What are the pieces we're putting in place that get us there? And I don't want to use Project 2025 as an example. What is our strategic agenda, and how are the tactics that we're using help us to achieve that agenda versus just throwing out stuff that we hope sticks?
That's why it's important. Why I bring up things like, a movie, like the what if.
Well,
what if this did happen? And I mean, you have the little trickles of, get a vision. Or if that did happen, then what would we do? I hear you, Diallo.
What if Diallo hung around with us for part of the next show? So when we hear from John Diggles and Todd Urey, Diallo can give some thoughts, not just to the strategies of an alternative to Project 2025, but how do we deal with a trillionaire? What does this say, Diallo, about the value system associated with a nation that allows, Dr. King probably said it best, that spends billions of dollars on weapons of mass destruction, but doesn't put a man on his own 2 feet right here on Earth, but can spend billions of dollars to put a man on the moon, or now to put trillions of dollars to put a man on Mars, but can't put a man on his own 2 feet right here in America and in our own world. What does that say about who we are as a people? What is the strategy that hones that message? Because I actually think that Elon Musk has stepped into some space that allows for prophetic vision to emerge, that we've had enough of this as a people. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Fat Meat Fridays. Hopefully Diallo will stay with us, but John Diggles will also be joining us, and we expect a call in from Reverend Todd Urey. More when we come back on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The Rainbow Push Coalition's annual conference is underway on Chicago's South Side. Hillary Clinton addressed the gathering Thursday, calling for a grassroots push against what she called efforts to turn the clock back.
We don't need to have a bunch of elected officials leading this new movement.
It's the first conference since the death of founder Reverend Jesse Jackson, with his son Yusef now leading Push. The scheduled execution of Black Alabama death row inmate Jeffrey Lee has been postponed. The U.S. Supreme Court left in place a lower court injunction blocking Alabama's use of nitrogen hypoxia. And rapper Pooh Shiesty's federal trial has been pushed to February 2027 in a kidnapping and armed robbery case tied to rapper Gucci Mane. Prosecutors say Shiesty, whose legal name is Lontrell Williams Jr., led an armed takeover of a Dallas recording studio during a contract meeting. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Escape the city at the all-new Hard Rock Casino Tejon, just an easy drive from downtown LA. Play your favorites across over 2,000 slot machines, plus baccarat, blackjack, roulette, and craps. Enjoy live entertainment and exceptional dining. Must be 21 or older. Concerned about your gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Omar Artan, the Somalian referee denied entry into the U.S. to work World Cup matches this weekend here in L.A., has been given a high-profile assignment by the Union of European Football Association. Artan, rated as one of the best soccer refs in the world, was hired to work the opening match for UEFA's 2026-27 season. Artan will be on the field in France for the match between Paris Saint-Germain and Aston Villa of England. FIFA officials said they tried to help Artan gain entry into the U.S., but they were unsuccessful. Artan was en route to L.A. Saturday when he was stopped by immigration agents at Miami International Airport. Tonight at 6, it's your Friday night sports fix, out of bounds and prime time. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough for 60 minutes of sports chatter with some black folks flavor. You can hang out with us on the KBLA YouTube channel or hit us up at 1-800-920-1580. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr. $2.5 billion. Governor Gavin Newsom said it was there for fire survivors in Altadena and the Palisades. No strings attached. That was the promise. But the burning question is, where's it at? 18 months later, an NBC4 investigation came back with the numbers. The numbers don't answer the question, they deepen it. Where's it at? About $605 million has been spent, roughly 75% still not released. Where's it at? Roughly 14 million went to CHP overtime and ICE immigration protest response for crowd control. Not rebuilding homes, not rebuilding lives, but crowd control. Where's it at? Another 13 million went to the state health department for video campaigns while fire survivors waited. While families in Altadena are still trying to put their lives back together, still trying to get housed, this is the hope gap and it's real. Where's it at? Southern California Edison is still in court, still fighting liability tied to the Eden fire, still not accountable. Where's it at? 18 months later, Governor Newsom, where's it at? Because the truth is free, but the lie can be very expensive. And right now, fire survivors want to know what happened to no strings attached. And I've been saying on this mic for the past 18 months, somebody or somebodies didn't do their job. Now it's documented. Governor Newsom, listen closely. You didn't do your job. You didn't keep your promise. You held up the bill. Now stop holding up the money. You said no strings attached. Instead, you played on the people's heartstrings. Where's it at? See, Governor Newsom, even at the French Laundry, if it don't come out in the wash, it's sure enough gonna come out in the rinse, and the rinse cycle is here. With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Junior Show. The Jesse Jackson Junior Show. The Jesse Jackson Junior Show. The Jesse Jackson Junior Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580, download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Fat Meat Fridays with none other than our creator, Gina Towns. Gina, welcome forward to the show.
Hey, Jesse, how are you?
Great, thank you. And we're also welcoming back to our show Brother Diallo Brooks, who, with over 25 years of experience in social justice and civil rights, Diallo has been a pivotal figure in promoting policies that foster safe, healthy, and thriving communities. Diallo, welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thanks for having me back.
John, we are, Brother Diallo, we are now joined also by John Diggles, the president and founder of Ascent Strategy Group, the first public relations agency built to power healthcare's digital transformation. His mission is to advance health equity. He works at the intersection of innovation, regulation, and reputation. His skilled strategists and writers are shaping dynamic brand narratives, fostering connections across medical professionals and patient audiences, and developing the first communication protocols for health AI. Mr. Diggles, notable first while serving as a catalyst for growth, change, and reinvention, recognized for superior achievement in reputation management. Mr. Diggles advises businesses, faith, and political leaders and brings expertise in comeback, turnaround, and reinvention. John, welcome forward to the show.
Jesse, always good to be with you, man. And I know special things happen on Fat Meat Friday.
Oh, you can count on that. Gina, the team is here. Gina, team is here.
Yes, and after our break, when we come forward, we are going to have one of the premier AI developers who is just getting into it. And so we're going to be able to hear from a Black woman in AI.
Oh, look forward to that. Looking
yes.
forward to that. John, we have been commiserating for the last hour over the announcement on the street that the world now has its first trillionaire. His name is Elon Musk. And I've been breaking down for our listeners what $1 trillion really means, but what it also means for the disruption of our government and our way of life. With one individual plus Citizens United plus dark money, that if he took just 200 billion of his trillion, just 200 billion, there's no evidence that he'll do that, but 200 billion of his trillion, still leaving him $800 billion, and spent it across 435 congressional races across this country, he could conceivably give $456 million to each candidate that he supports across the entire United States and help shape and deliver their message and literally change the trajectory of the United States and, for that matter, the world's leading freedom system. And he has shown much evidence that he has absolutely no interest in the freedom of basic, ordinary people. Mr. Diggles.
I mean, it's a fascinating thing happening today on Wall Street, right? The SpaceX IPO, and we see IPOs happening on the street. So, and it goes back literally when we look at how our country was built, right? Cornelius Vanderbilt and, the founders of the business foundation of our country. This became a competition for them about who's going to give and invest in money. So really it is not only, it's something obviously for discussion on your show, but it really is a great American tradition in business of our business leaders celebrating their success by helping invest in causes that are going to build and change our country. And that even goes back, Jesse, as you know, to the work that your father did with Push. And the investments mattered because that's how you fuel that change.
Yeah, I actually think that we are in the waning hours of capitalism, Gina. I think that there's a new generation of people who understand healthcare for all. They understand education of equal high quality for all. They want a sustainable planet. They don't like the idea of Diallo of tornadoes in the middle of the city of Chicago. They don't like that idea. There's something completely out of whack in this country and in our world at this hour. And its greatest symbol and example just made $1 trillion in one day. Diallo?
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, we're in a time of where there's a colliding of philosophies, right? Because of what's happening, because of the drasticness of what we see. I think that change is on the horizon, but it's also going to take organizing. It's going to take strategy. It's going to take really folks coming together and thinking through what that looks like on the other side. Not just change for change's sake, but change for kind of righteousness' sake.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Our very special guest on Fat Meat Fridays with Gina Towns, Diallo Brooks, and John Diggles. More when we come forward, right here on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, the Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
You have something to say, and we want to hear it. KBLA Talk 1580 is engagement radio, not outrage radio. A place where your hopes, your frustrations, and your ideas are welcome 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real talk, real people, real Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580, the station that sounds like the city looks. Tune in on your AM radio dial at 1580. Download our free KBLA 1580 app or listen live on our website at KBLA1580.com.
Unapologetically progressive.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
It's Fat Meat Fridays on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. Our guests include our contributor, Gina Towns, creator of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, Diallo Brooks, and John Diggles. John, I was going to say when we came back from the break, you sound like you're trying to get an investment in the health business from the world's newest trillionaire. Talk to me, John. On the moral side of this equation, there is a generation of Americans who are raising concerns about the upward swing of wealth in this nation. And today they got the strongest argument on how gross it is that an individual and our economic system can be this unaccountable to the people. John, your spin on this kind of money, obligation, responsibility, and accountability.
I mean, it's a discussion we have to have. You know, the market just closed 16 minutes ago, and the SpaceX shares are up, 17% over their opening price, right? So, I mean, there is that sense that a very successful day here as far as the opening, and we have some other big ones coming. OpenAI is going to have a big IPO coming up. So there are some other big opportunities coming here, and it's a discussion to certainly have about, these companies have to build data centers in communities. These companies need an infrastructure throughout the country. So, there's a way to tie this discussion to business plans too. And I think we have to have lots of really smart strategy about ways in to have discussions, to have accountability, and to have support for communities that deeply need it. And put those things, look, these companies thrive because lots of attention comes to the IPO. There's also opportunities to get lots of attention on headline things they can address, such as health equity, Black maternity care, hard health deserts across the country. There's a way to do it. Jesse, I have these conversations all the time. We just have to plug in to the strategic path to get there.
And I profoundly respect that. Diallo, your thoughts on what strategically, in terms of our politic, is impacted by the impact. Elon Musk just isn't any kind of billionaire or trillionaire. He's engaged. I mean, he has a a perspective in the body politic. He has an interest in Supreme Court justices. He has a real interest in who's on the federal bench where there are local and state regulations that impact his interests. He has an interest in local judiciaries and local Supreme Courts. He has an interest in who the mayors are of cities where data centers have to be built. He has an interest in controlling city councils to get votes to cool down the massive amount of water necessary for these data centers. Diallo, let's talk about accountability.
Yeah, the only accountability to money is the people and organizing. And I think we have to do a better job of organizing, making sure folks have the right type of information to make the right types of decisions at the ballot booth. Because no matter how much money you have, at the end of the day, it's those votes that elect those elected officials that are making decisions on policy. And if we don't have a clear agenda and we're not clearly organized on the ground and have a clear strategy on the ground to engage around the things that we actually care about, then the money is going to win, right? And we've seen that. But we've also seen in places around the country where there's been a lot of money put in, but then there was a very organized group of people that were able to push back. And those that sided with the money didn't win their elections, right? And so that's the only way that we can create change. And then we have to have a public policy agenda that level sets our expectations of what we want from our government, but also what we want from businesses. Because we got to remember that businesses are actually an entity created by our governmental structures, right? By the people, ultimately. And what we've done is given that decision-making power over to elected officials that are then pushed by those folks with a lot of money to make decisions that are not necessarily beneficial to the people that live in that particular jurisdiction. And so once we've decided to organize people and fully educate people, really give information to folks that is of value to them around the things that they care about, and give them structures to participate, I think we can then push back against the billionaire class as they, continue to cannibalize the system.
That is that's a whole mouthful. I think also what has to happen is that we have to remove the money from politics. That has to be a demand on behalf of people, and I think that people are fed up enough seeing what's going on right now. To take that, but it has to have, something that has spearheaded that. Somebody's going to have to take that bull by the horn, because we've been looking at that escalate for a long time. But what I do want to do, because we're talking about businesses, we're talking about the level at which Elon Musk is playing in AI. But here's an entrepreneur. Angie Scott is the owner and host of the talk show Real Level Up. She is the co-owner at MVP Band and Music. She has a degree from Georgia Tech. And if anybody knows anything about Georgia Tech, there's not a lot of people that can get, and you got to be smart to get into Georgia Tech. And she has gone and just taken off on this AI thing. And I want her to talk a little bit about what it's like learning AI and starting a business in this space. Angie, welcome to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show and Fat Meat Friday Reflectivity.
Well, I want to thank everyone. Thank you, Jesse, for having me on the show. Thank you, Gina, for having me on the show. And speaking from the perspective of an entrepreneur who is learning the space of AI, it's necessary. And we here, boots on the ground. Do we have the big influence or big money to get into it? A lot of us don't, but a lot of us are learning that this could be a level playing field, and AI is going nowhere. I'm here at a place right now with the queen of AI, Alicia Little, and her sister Lorette, and they are being very, very serious about teaching the people of color. And they're also showing us how we can build our business, enhance our business with using AI.
Angie, tell us a little bit about what the business is that you've embarked upon.
Well, there's a couple of businesses that AI has improved for me and my business partner, Pat Nash. We started a publishing company called Nashcott Publishing. And with Nashcott Publishing, we were able to write books through AI. And what it does, AI is going at the speed of AI. And what that means is if we don't learn how AI is working as business owners, as entrepreneurs, we will be left behind. So that's one of the things that we use the tool of AI. She had mentioned that I have a talk show network. With that talk show network, I'm able to help my hosts enhance their talk show network, such as this, that is on a platform like StreamYard, to enhance the information that they want to get out about what they want to talk about. They can do the research just like that in a matter of minutes instead of a matter of hours. And then finally, we are teaching school age children about AI. And let me tell you something about that, ladies and gentlemen. They probably know more than we do. Sometimes the children are teaching us. So that's where we know and learn that AI is going nowhere, because the younger, they are learning about it. But it's on us to teach the younger how to be more, how to have responsibility with this AI tool, because it, as you guys know, it could go anywhere. So if we don't take the onus, if we don't take ownership with AI and teaching the younger how to have more responsibility with it.
I am very proud of Angie and Miss Nash. I'm very proud of their business. I'm very proud of their drive, their resilience, their determination in this space. And I'm not unmindful of what it means. I support Angie and I want her to be very successful. And I absolutely agree with Angie that every single business, either you're in it or you're not in it. But if you're not in it, you're definitely going to be left behind, because your competitor is going to be there. They're heading in the direction of more and more efficiency. No doubt about that. I want to go to the global question, however, Diallo and John and Gina, and I'll start with Gina first. Of the 300,000 Black women who lost their jobs at the beginning of the Trump administration, and Pete Hegseth, who recently stopped the promotion of Black women at the Pentagon who've earned the right to put their lives on the line and sacrifice for their country. On the occasion of the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, that all men, and yes, a friendly amendment from Elizabeth Cady Stanton, and women are created equal and endowed by our Creator with inalienable rights. For this one person who is largely responsible for dismissing Black women and his overarching and overwhelming reach into partisan politics with the kind of money that he now has, does that raise any concern for anybody? Does anyone actually think in this environment things are going to get better for Black women under the leadership of Elon Musk and Donald Trump? Gina?
I can't say that there's any evidence thus far. I think it's very telling that two of the top women that were appointed in this administration are gone, and gone very quickly. Yet Pete Hegseth continues to march on. Promotions in the military, you name it, from business, corporations, and now there is, there's a penalty for hiring Black women. So that's why, I do applaud, as you said, Angie, because you do have to have a makeover. You've got to reinvent yourself in this particular time and space. And I know, that Diallo looks at this and says, hey, it's an opportunity. So I'm going to let him, give his own vision on that. What do you say about that, Diallo?
I mean, technology is constantly changing. We always have to adapt to technologies changing and making sure that we have the wherewithal and the tool and the ability to utilize that technology to the best of our advantage as we move forward. And at the same time, we have to be policy minded about what we want that technology to accomplish and how that technology works for our communities or against our communities, meaning how those algorithms are created, how the technology what are the learning tools that are within those technologies. So we have to be advanced at all stages, not only the consumer end of it, but also in the production end of it. And then also, lastly, I'll say this, the government accountability of those structures and making sure that there's guardrails put in place that allow us to be safe, healthy, and thriving as communities.
Mr. Dickles?
Well, first, I just want to say, Angie, man, we celebrate you. That is great. What you're doing is tremendous. We celebrate you. And, you know, it's so good that you're on the show, because Jesse set an example in something he said some time ago, when he said that our communities, underserved communities, cannot miss another economic shift, and AI represents that. He stood up and really said we have to be at the table, shaping this technology, shaping the policy, shaping the regulation, right? And that is the voice of a champion saying we must be at the table, we must be there. And look, it's not only about, because I agree, it's about the algorithms, it's about the regulations, but AI represents such a big economic shift that the next trillionaire could be listening to this program thinking about their business. Angie, that could be you thinking about your business and how you're going to be involved in AI. So the next big investors and business leaders coming out of AI must come from communities that have been traditionally locked out of the economic shift. Really celebrate what you're doing, Angie, in the example. And Jesse, to you for saying that, no, we're not. We're going to be at the table and we're going to drive this economic shift. That's what it's going to take.
Absolutely. And if I were president of the United States, Angie, one of her first contracts would just be printing with her book company, Pentagon manuals for the use of everything. She'd be worth billions of dollars in short order. That's just how many different manuals to operate this, to operate that, cover the Pentagon. But I got to fight for racial justice at the Pentagon to make sure that Angie's company can do business with the Pentagon.
Yes.
And that's quite a different mountain to cover. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr., listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. We have some outstanding guests right here on Reflectivity and Fat Meat Fridays with Gina Towns. More when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. The Rainbow Push Coalition's annual conference is underway on Chicago's South Side. Hillary Clinton addressed the gathering Thursday, calling for a grassroots push against what she called efforts to turn the clock back.
We don't need to have a bunch of elected officials leading this new movement.
It's the first conference since the death of founder Reverend Jesse Jackson, with his son Yusef now leading Push. The scheduled execution of Black Alabama death row inmate Jeffrey Lee has been postponed. The U.S. Supreme Court left in place a lower court injunction blocking Alabama's use of nitrogen hypoxia. And rapper Pooh Shiesty's federal trial has been pushed to February 2027 in a kidnapping and armed robbery case tied to rapper Gucci Mane. Prosecutors say Shiesty, whose legal name is Lontrell Williams Jr., led an armed takeover of a Dallas recording studio during a contract meeting. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Escape the city at the all-new Hard Rock Casino Tejon, just an easy drive from downtown LA. Play your favorites across over 2,000 slot machines, plus baccarat, blackjack, roulette, and craps. Enjoy live entertainment and exceptional dining. Must be 21 or older. Concerned about your gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Omar Artan, the Somalian referee denied entry into the U.S. to work World Cup matches this weekend here in L.A., has been given a high-profile assignment by the Union of European Football Association. Artan, rated as one of the best soccer refs in the world, was hired to work the opening match for UEFA's 2026-27 season. Artan will be on the field in France for the match between Paris Saint-Germain and Aston Villa of England. FIFA officials said they tried to help Artan gain entry into the U.S., but they were unsuccessful. Artan was en route to L.A. Saturday when he was stopped by immigration agents at Miami International Airport. Tonight at 6, it's your Friday night sports fix, out of bounds and prime time. Join me and my co-host Gil Scarborough for 60 minutes of sports chatter with some black folks flavor. You can hang out with us on the KBLA YouTube channel or hit us up at 1-800-920-1580. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you missed any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about. I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. We continue our look at what is happening and what is not happening along the Destination Crenshaw corridor. Last time we talked about the promises made to this community. Today we talk about the reality on the ground, and it is not pretty. Let's start with something as basic as a visit to the vet. Customers of the local veterinary clinic right next door to this studio are forced to park blocks away and carry their sick and injured animals through conditions that no pet owner or sick animal should have to endure. Why? Because the construction has blocked access to the vet's parking lot for years now. The vet is losing clients, the vet is losing revenue, and frankly, who can blame these customers for not coming back? This is but one example of a small black-owned business being quietly strangled, and nobody at City Hall seems to notice or care. And the conditions along this corridor, they are not just an eyesore, they are a health hazard. Unsanitary conditions and repeated health code violations are doing exactly what you would expect, inviting vermin into our neighborhood, rodents, pests, the kind of infestation that does not stay in one place. It spreads into homes, into restaurants, into our daily lives for years now. Then there is this. The houseless are finding refuge in the construction cubbyholes and unfinished spaces left wide open along this project. These are precious human beings, to be sure, in desperate situations. But this is also a safety and liability crisis that the city created and has yet to address for years now. In our prior editorial, trying to save some space for Grace, we did not call his name. But after a full week of running the editorial hourly, highlighting the myriad delays, business losses, health violations, safety concerns, and more, we have heard absolutely nothing from City Council President Marquise Harris Dawson. Nothing. Not a word. The council member who represents this district has gone silent. You see why we call this project Procrastination Crenshaw? And so I repeat, Crenshaw deserves better. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA 1580. Download the app.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Welcome forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. It's Fat Meat Fridays with Miss Gina Towns. Gina, welcome forward to Reflectivity.
Well, hello there, Jesse. And we are having a lot of fat meat.
It's greasy.
I mean, we are reflecting, and it is definitely.
It is greasy. In this hour, we have 3 very special guests, maybe even 4. Certainly, we're grateful that Diallo Brooks has decided to stay with us from the past hour. Diallo is used to be an education fellow at the Schott Foundation and worked at the U.S. Department of Education, and now he is engaged in social justice strategies across our country. Grateful for his efforts. Also, Mr. John Diggles, the president of Ascent Strategies, an innovative company that does work in the healthcare space and is on the cutting edge of technology in that space, and believes fundamentally in healthcare, the fundamental right to healthcare for all Americans, with an acknowledgement that things are changing and they're changing very quickly. Angie Coleman Scott is an African-American woman, a business entrepreneur in the AI space, and much of this conversation centers around the idea that Black women in this particular era are being discriminated against, and they have to be superior in order just to be equal in this space. And so she finds herself an innovator and leading in the AI space, and none other, Gina Towns, than Dr. S. Todd Eury.
S. Todd Eury, who got caught with one foot in the courtroom on Wednesday. And how could we ever have a full week of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show without hearing from our Reverend Dr. Todd Eury Esquire?
I heard when that foot was in the courtroom, he lost a leg. Like
I had both feet in the courtroom.
Todd Eury is the principal of the Eury firm, a Maryland-based litigation and government relations firm, and also serves as the senior pastor of Douglas Memorial Community Church of Baltimore and its affiliates. Dr. Eury is also the former chief executive at the Rainbow Push Coalition. Welcome, Todd.
Always good to be able to hang out with y'all.
Absolutely.
Dr. Eury, I got some great news for you. I just heard that Elon Musk has decided to join your church. And he says that he's going to be a tithing member.
He's not a tithe. He's not a tithe. I saw the number.
Are you going to hold him accountable to his tithes? Man, you can fund the whole Black community just for one time.
You have to put up your tax returns. I don't think he's going to flow.
Dr. Eury, we were having a conversation on a myriad of subjects, but in our final 2 segments of the show, the wealth inequality, what this $1 trillion, the world's first trillionaire means and represents, and given his ideological and philosophical bend, we are looking at a whole new world in politics.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Eury?
Yeah, I saw that. I heard that. I started looking at some of the numbers, and when I was looking at the chart that Gina sent over about generosity, it brought a couple of things to mind. His personal value being over $1 trillion doesn't get to the deeper issue of how he made his money, and this is where we have to understand how the oligarch class uses the public resources for their personal interests. If the annual federal budget is somewhere around $45 trillion, and the companies that Elon Musk runs benefits from hundreds of millions of dollars of public funding to advance their bottom line interests to the benefit of their corporate shareholders, how he got to be a trillionaire is not because of his genius. It is because of government welfare. And so we have to be real clear that we don't get so amazed by the number because we're not sure how many zeros there are. We can count the commas. But we have to go back and look at why is his balance sheet padded and the average worker is still struggling. It's the conversation that we have to have in this election season. You've got local, state, and federal elections going on. State governments move $2 trillion a year, so do local governments, $2 trillion a year. Where does the money go beyond payroll and those things when we think about school districts and who gets the contracts and who gets to perform the services? There is a mechanism that is often closed to folks who look like us, because we all got cute for radio. We don't get to participate like other folks get to participate. They go in recognizing, and as we have seen with this president, that he is okay with going with sole source contracts outside of the light of procurement rules to be able to, fill the palms and pad the pockets of those he's helping to become rich. And the last one was the $1.776 billion that he was going to use. He could have made 1,600 millionaires with one transaction had that not been challenged in the court.
Gina?
Angie, what say you to you weren't in that part of the conversation, but when somebody has the type of money that Elon Musk had, and primarily right now based around AI, what do you feel like the challenge is for the everyday person to enter into this space, to do well, particularly with what we are up against as far as representation in the political space now, and that's growing. And then I want John Diggles to take a stab at that as well.
Access. The number one thing that we are dealing with as entrepreneurs, and particularly entrepreneurs of one or maybe five, it's hard for us to get resources to build more access to what we need to even bring in more people to teach. Okay, let me go back to what I was telling you guys about us teaching those that are less fortunate. Well, they need computers. They need access to internet, and that takes money. So the resources that we used to have to get those computers and have internet for those who are less fortunate so we can teach has been taken away. Our resource was taken away back in October, ladies and gentlemen, and it has not returned back to us. So what are we trying to do as two female Black entrepreneurs trying to continue to teach them? We're trying to find other resources to gain access to get them even computers. That's where we are.
Well, we've got to pick this conversation up when we come forward.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're an African American mom who is pregnant or have a baby under 6 months old, you deserve care that lifts, listens, and lasts. Black Infant Health is for you. It's a free program with individual support, group sessions, and resources to start your mothering journey. BIH makes space for moms and their families to create community. Learn more about the programs in Los Angeles County. Check us out at blackinfanthealth.org.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. Whether it's support for you and your family while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, we can help you move forward. From support while you bond with your newborn, to helping serve your family while your partner serves our country. Your EDD will help you get there. For more information, visit edd.ca.gov.
Did you know that $60 billion are lost every year to Medicare fraud?
If someone has been a victim of healthcare fraud, the more we talk about that this occurs, older adults will feel more comfortable about sharing their experience.
It's not about someone not being smart enough or not paying enough attention. Falling victim to fraud can happen to anyone.
If I've been scammed, if I've experienced it and I'm angry about it and I want to do something about it, then I have an opportunity to volunteer and share with other people, here's what happened to me, but it doesn't have to happen to you.
Medicare fraud hurts people, it hurts Medicare, and we need your help to make a difference.
It's powerful to be able to address an issue like Medicare fraud, and being a volunteer for SMP gives you that power to do it.
If you have passion and dedication and want to be of service, we'd love to have you join our team.
For more information or to volunteer, visit californiasmp.org.
I love a girls' weekend, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin, thanks to Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
You can usually find me in the kitchen, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm still in the mix with Skyrizi to treat my joint symptoms.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe at 4 months.
Or if you're an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The BLM Center for Black Power is a hub for Black activism in the city of Los Angeles, a standalone nonprofit affiliated with Black Lives Matter LA. The venue is home to live events, meetings, and organizing drives for Black-led community-based organizations. It is also the base of operations for Black Lives Matter LA. Built on what used to be a nuisance property owned by an arms dealer, the BLM Center for Black Power is in the heart of Leimert Park and has opened its doors to everything from youth organizers to toy drives to film screenings and community town hall meetings. To make a donation or make a request, please visit blmla.org. That's blmla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. Looking forward to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show on KBLA Talk 1580. This is our final segment and our final show of the week. We are in Fat Meat Fridays with Gina Towns. Gina?
Well, I think we have had just a good old time here on Fat Meat Friday. And I see you decided you were so hungry by Fat Meat Friday that we put.
I went and got me a ham hock.
Oh, we do
Made me
try to
hungry.
have something on that plate on Fat Meat Friday. Before we went to the break, Angie shared with the audience and with our discussion group about the issue of access, especially in this space of AI. And John, that is a central part of the business that you do. Could you respond to what Angie said about access?
Absolutely, Jesse. Well, Jesse, you made me hungry first off. So as soon as the show's over, I'm getting myself a ham hock.
You won't be wrong.
Look, Angie is so right. And I'm going access with a capital A because the best schools and the best hospitals now have access to AI tools. And when you surround yourself with this technology and you understand it and you see what it can do, that's how you create the next generation of entrepreneurs. But I'll also add to that education and investment. We have to prepare our students, the next generation, to not only participate in the AI economy, but to lead it, and investment in businesses like Angie, who are really changing this and driving it forward. That's how we're going to not only lift communities, but I argue if the U.S. is going to be the world leader in AI and the AI economy, we cannot miss entrepreneurs like Angie in communities that have been far locked out of the economy for far too long.
Mr. Brooks?
Yeah, I agree with all of the above. I think we have to be prepared for it. We also have to develop the training tools for our community to hold policymakers accountable around AI, to make sure that we have the structures in place that make sure AI benefits our community and doesn't harm our community. And making sure, like you said, like folks have said before, that our entrepreneurs, that our politicians, all of those folks have the necessary information to make the right decisions about what comes next. It's like I said before, technology is constantly changing. Technology is something that we always will have to utilize in our lifetimes. And so we have to be as prepared as possible for that onslaught. But it means being prepared in not only the consumer side of it, but the production side of it, and the accountability and policy side of it.
Before Dr. Erie offers us his word of hope, I did want to just say this very quickly, because I do want to hear that word of hope. If every American, when we talk about the structure of our country, had the fundamental constitutional right to a public education of equal high quality, it means that 350 million Americans could challenge the state government as well as the federal government to provide AI education beginning at K through 12, all the way through college, because of the shifting economy. Without that direction from the Constitution and empowering parents to say, there's no AI in my school, there's no AI in my kindergarten, there's no AI in my 8th grade, there's no AI here, I'm preparing my children for a world where AI has now taken over and my children have never even been exposed to it, that's deeply troubling. So I turn my attention to the foundation. I turn my attention to the Constitution, the constitutional right to a public education of equal high quality, giving parents the ability to do just that. Our final thoughts on this Fat Meat Friday, Reverend Dr. Todd Eshiri.
To all of my colleagues who have shared so much, the struggle is real, right? That's why we've got to do this work. Angie's spot on. It's not just the hardware and the tools, it's being able to get bonded so that you can qualify for some of the government jobs, or being able to be partnered with a mentoring organization. We gotta work through that. Artificial intelligence is just that. My question has always been, who's training the large language models that they're designing these tools? And so the next economy is not going to be AI versus non-AI. It's going to be between those who master AI and those who don't. But here's what we've got to carry with us in this conversation. Is artificial intelligence does not substitute for divine wisdom. We have to make sure that we do not sacrifice our sense of somebodyness in this rush to grab onto this next commercial product that's designed to sell us what's going to harm us. And so we got to make sure that we're really, really clear in all of this, that we are God people. God has been with us throughout our history. And so we don't abandon it. We don't walk away from it. We certainly don't step down. And we recognize that, you know how we know that God is still with us? Because on a Friday, when we gather around fat meat, I say fat back, we get a little glimpse of the genius of God on this screen, not just in terms of how we look, but the work that we do. And to all of the folks who are listening in KBLA land, just remember, what ain't artificial is the purpose that God created for you. Go on and walk in it and make no apologies for it.
Thank you so much,
Dr. Yuri.
That was fabulous, Dr. Yuri. Gina, we have 2 minutes for our creator.
You know, I know when perfection has come, and Dr. Yuri's words, and that's why when I realized that it was Fat Meat Friday and we had not had a word from Dr. Yuri, who has 1 foot in the courtroom and 1 foot in the pulpit, where our moral code and our civil code meet together. It is in that heart space that I knew that Todd would be able to bring some closure and some sense of hope to this conversation, starting out with, you know, us as a nation and as a world having our first trillionaire. I wondered how Donald Trump felt, because I knew he wanted to be the first. And so as we rush off, as Todd said, to do this, that, and the other, it is so important to keep our eyes fixed, not only on the author and perfecter of our faith, to seek that out, but as well to make sure that we keep our eyes on one another, lift one another up, and have a great weekend. And we will be ready to be back with you on the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show
on Monday, on Moving Mountain Mondays. I'm Jesse Jackson Jr. You've been listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, some of our outstanding regular contributors. I'm grateful that they gave up their Friday afternoon. I'm going to do everything I can that if I ever get the opportunity to meet Elon Musk, I'm going to try my best to introduce him to Jesus and introduce him to Reverend Todd Yuri, because if we can just get him to tithe, Reverend Todd Yuri will build with $100 billion the largest Protestant liberation organization in the history of Protestantism. I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for all of our contributors. More on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward on Moving Mountain Monday on Monday.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.